It's time to prepare and get ready. Oh yeah. Gerard, are you hearing me?
Yes, I hear you, Brother Geechee. I
All
hear
right.
you.
Good. I hear you right. So did you see all of that video that I had there?
Well, I was watching the. It was yeah. I was watching the intro. You know, different shots, images
Okay.
of different music segments playing.
Okay. So at least I know that worked. That's something that I just tried to fiddle with today. But I,
Congratulations.
yeah, this has been a journey. Just started vlogging, of course, last year, and some of the tools here, such as StreamYard, YouTube Live, and Zoom, I've basically had to teach myself how to do with some of these things. So that's what's happening now. So, with that being said, I'm going to presume that we are now live.
Okay. Well,
Here on,
why is my picture so small? I thought it'd be.
I
Well,
don't
you look.
understand that either. Let me see. Let me check that out.
Oh, there
What
you
is?
go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Okay, no. I just had to change it.
Oh, you hit the right button. I assume.
No, you know what it is? It
What's
gives
that?
you different. It gives you different layouts, and I just look down there and say, "Oh, let me click this."
Oh, okay, good. Oh, well, this right now. You're recording this, yes?
Yeah, I presume it's recording it, but at
Okay,
least it
all
should
right.
be. It's live on YouTube. I
Okay,
hope I
good,
didn't.
good.
I didn't go on YouTube to see what it was actually showing. Let me
Okay.
see. I got my phone here. I got my. Yeah, let me see. I'm looking to see if this
So
thing is on.
what is the YouTube channel where it would be?
My YouTube channel is Geechee Lions Journey. Of course, people that know
Sure,
me and follow
sure,
me. I see Lilibeth Tate is on. Hey, Lilibeth. Yeah, so are you seeing me clearly, Lilibeth? Let me know if you are, then I know I'm okay with the broadcast. Then I can just kind of move on. Let me know, Lily, if you're seeing me and it's clear and everything and that I am live. And I'm actually using StreamYard here, and it would be broadcasting it to YouTube, I think. I think that's how it
okay.
works. Yeah, Lily says everything is clear, so that means I'm clear. Let me
Good.
formally welcome everybody. This is Geechee Lion Journey. I know it's been a long time coming. I actually thought about doing this vlog or a series of vlogs such as this about the music industry. Thought about doing this for months, but I tell you, it's been so, what can I say, hectic. Of course, I moved to the Philippines last year. I was in the Philippines, as people know. I actually uh, been to several cities. I stayed in St. Carlos City for 6 months. Then I went back to America for the summer, did some things, and now I'm back here selling into Davao City. But in the midst of that, I have been still involved in the music industry, doing a lot of things. I want to talk about some of that today. But I want to introduce my guest, who I've known of him, heard of him through the grapevine, so to speak, and then I come to find out that he's a mutual Facebook friend with my mentor, who is Marshall Thompson of the Shylights. I actually became mentored by Marshall Thompson back in 2020, and we had some nice personal conversations on the phone where he gave me some tips about what I wanted to do in the industry. Of course, I'm a long time musician, started almost 50 years ago, really. Of course, I had a long hiatus, which I've talked about that before. I can talk about that even now, but I come to find out that Gerard is a Facebook friend of Marshall Thompson, as well as my other great friend that I met earlier this year, Vince Lawson, who I talked to him, I believe, last night. And he's up in Bacala. But it's a whole lot. I mean, you can really dedicate, if I wanted to, dedicate a whole channel to just what's going on in the music industry. I mean, it's music is the gift that keeps on giving. And again, I want to start off this, what I believe be the first in a series of blogs that I want to do regarding the music industry. And what I want to do now is I want to have my guest introduce himself and kind of fill us in on his involvement in the music industry. So without further ado, go ahead and take it away, brother.
Okay, greetings, everyone. My name is Gerard. I am a freelance publicity photographer who got into the industry that way. I used to work at Ford Motor Company on the assembly line, and I decided that wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I wanted to be in the entertainment business, but I couldn't sing, act, dance, tell jokes, and all that stuff. So I looked around the industry to see how can I break into it. It's easy to say what we don't want to do. The hardest thing is to know what we do want to do. So I looked around the industry and I said, aha, I'll become a photographer, because everybody's going to need a photographer at one time or another. And so what happened was that, my first publication, I'll kind of pick this up a bit, was a Richard Burton and Ted O'Neill in the New York Post. So once I saw my picture there, my photograph there, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a photographer. And so, I worked my way to the point to where is that on this assembly line thing, I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I worked myself, working with modeling agencies, different writers, magazines. But ultimately, I ended up in Los Angeles. And I ended up in Los Angeles, and I met a woman named Bonnie Hilton Sweeney, who is the founder of the Pre-Grammy Party. She launched her Pre-Grammy Party the same week that Clyde Davis had his. Clyde Davis' Pre-Grammy Party was really very, it was very big, but it was also very excluded. It excluded a lot of Black artists and entertainers because, if they don't reach a certain plateau or wasn't part of that inner circle, you weren't getting in. So this was a time when Earth, Wind, and Fire was blowing up the charts. They controlled the music industry. And at this time, the Grammys only gave out the Grammys to Black artists if they pre-record their acceptance speech. At this time, Earth, Wind, and Fire decided, no. If we can't get our Grammys like the white boys do it on stage, we don't want it. So there's really no footage from back in the day where Earth, Wind, and Fire received the Grammys because they refused to do a pre-recorded Grammy speech. During this time, Michael Jackson and had broken to MTV because they couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop it. So anyway, Bonnie, who worked with Hugh Hefner for Playboy as a publicist, decided that she was going to have her Grammy party for Blacks. And it was during the month of February, which is Black History Month, was also during the week of Grammys. And it morphed into something huge. Now, as a photographer, I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and I always had a knack of getting past security. So I saw Hollywood Boulevard at the Palladium that they had this show called We Love Rock and Roll, and it was due to air, that weekend. And so I maneuvered myself in there. They were doing rehearsing, and so when I do get past security, I usually try to latch myself onto somebody who officially, is there. So I looked and I saw this woman sitting there, and it was Bonnie. And I walked over and introduced myself. And she said, I said, I'm a photographer. She said, would you like to be my photographer? I said, sure. And so she said, okay, go backstage and tell Mr. James Brown that you're my photographer and take pictures of him. I said, oh, wow. So, so at this rehearsal, there was the Temptations, there were Martha Reeves, the Vandellas, there were the Four Seasons, there was Chuck Berry, there was Grace Slick, and a whole lot of other artists, hosted by Howard Hessman. I don't know, some of you may remember Howard Hessman. He was on Cincinnati KRSP, so I got back there, and I'm photographing, I'm doing my thing, and be that as it may, I really didn't know a lot of these artists. I wish I had known more about them, but then I ended up working with Bonnie, and Bonnie launched the pre-Grammy party, and I became a personal photographer. The party ended up huge. It was around these tables of 10, where it was an intimate setting. Anybody, you could walk up and talk to Mr. Brown. You can walk up and talk to Joe Jackson. You can walk up and talk to a number of other people who were there. It was just that casual and so relaxed. And so Bonnie, because of her connection to industry, when artists would fly into Los Angeles or they were doing special events, they would have me, she would send me out on assignments, to take the pictures. And that's what I did. And I broke into the industry that way. Now, being totally honest with you, I was also a pharmacist. So it was something that morphed good, saying. So it's probably the good thing that came out of my being a pharmacist was because it allowed me access to a lot of celebrities, and I was able to have a dual purpose there. I was there as a pharmacist and also there as a photographer. And so, since then, I ended up launching my own magazine. Bonnie, I told Bonnie that I had did some time, and when I got out, I still had so much connection. I didn't know that the digital camera had turned to digital. I was reading everything. Yeah. I was reading everything, while I was on my vacation, and I'm reading everything about. I didn't read photography magazines. Yeah. So when I got back in society, I immediately bought a conventional camera with film, and
wrong.
Wrong. Yes, it was. But I ended up becoming the personal photographer for the Godfather Soul. Wherever he was performing at, I would be sent to go cover him. Wow. And in New York, I became the personal photographer for Reverend Al Sharpton. Oh, okay. That was the same thing. He gave me a total access. I could just walk into his inner office, and in fact, I was the only one in the inner office to photograph Michael Jackson there when he was having his problem with Sony. When Sony, he felt that Sony wasn't putting the muscle behind his project like he was used to. And so he went to Al Sharpton and them and hold this music summit. So I was able to get some great shots of Michael and of that event. And, they ended up in the newspapers and all that stuff. But the funny thing is, this to show you how little I knew that, about who was there. Yeah, Dougie Fresh was there. I didn't know Dougie Fresh. I was in this hip hop thing, and there was a guy sitting on the arm of the chair, and I said, "Excuse me, are you somebody?" He says, "Nah, I'm not nobody." I said, "Oh, can I take a picture of you anyway?" He said, "Yeah." So I took a picture of him, and when the program started, it turned out to be Russell Simmons. So I didn't know Russell Simmons and all that stuff, But anyway, I decided to launch my own magazine. Bonnie gave me a name of Harry Wengler. And when I called him in New York, he says, well, what do you want? I said, Bonnie told me to call you. He says, what do you want? But I have to emphasize the power of networking, because that is the one thing that we all want to do. We all want to help somebody get to the next level. Even if that level surpasses you, you should take pride in helping someone else reach their dream and their goals. So, matter of fact, I started a program called Dreams and Nothing More Than Plans Awaiting Action. And so anyway, I called Harry, and Harry said, Bonnie told you to call me. I said, yeah, what do you want? I said, I want to launch my own magazine. He said, okay, hold on. He gave me another name, a guy named Craig Miller, who was of Universal Records. And I said, Harry told me to call you. He said, well, what do you want? And I said, I'm launching a magazine. He said, say no more. So he gave me a list of every artist in the world. I knew when they were going on tour. I knew who was available for interview. It was like being in the supermarket. Just I'll take a little bit down Summers. I take a little bit of the game, and my reputation grew to where is that I became a very sought after photographer who covering high profile events. So I launched my own magazine and it was called SGIB. It was Long Island, New York's first urban bilingual music magazine because I recognized the growth of the Hispanic community on Long Island. So I created a music magazine that would allow them to, recognizing, and it was in English and Spanish. One side was English and the other side was Spanish. And it went very well. It's first initially started out as Strong G Island Biz. But then I was told that was too local, so I turned it to Soldiers Got Intentions Believe That. So anyway, the magazine went well, and then in my last issue, when I was doing it in the United States, I moved to Las Vegas, so I was doing the Las Vegas issue, and I decided to come to the Philippines for 30 days, to finish off the magazine. So I got here to the Philippines, I'm working on my magazine, but after 30 days, I said, oh, wow. I'm not going nowhere. This place is the bomb. This place is great. So I changed the name of the magazine from SGIB to Filipino Soul Magazine. I'm in the Philippines and I'm Soul Brother #1. In fact, this is a copy of that magazine. As you can see, there's the Temptations, Charlie Murphy, Abdul Ferrer from the Four Tops. This had, who else? The Mary Jane Girls. And this is L.J. Reynolds from the Dramatics, and then when you flipped it over, you had the Filipino side, and the Filipino side had this is President Duterte's head legal counsel and Filipino stories. So this is the magazine that I created and still have, And again, like I said, you hold it on one side and flip it over. I have another one on board that's finished. It's waiting to be proofed now. In fact, I'm putting Mr. Marshall in there, as you spoke about, because I also have a radio show that comes on every Sunday at 7 a.m. Filipino time and 7 p.m. New York time. You have to figure it out where it is, and it's called Sunday Morning Classics, where I talk about music as time goes by. So there's music. So I've covered the Charlites, the Jacksons. I used to do a broadcast in New York during the Michael Jackson trial on the radio called Do You Swear to Talk About the Jacksons, the whole Jacksons, not but the Jacksons, so help you God, where I talked about each Jackson member and their own personal success in the music industry and their records. In fact, that's also one of my shows that I have on my Sunday Morning Classics. So yeah, so I've been in the industry for a while, it has taken me places that I never could imagine, and had exposures with so many artists. I mean, you just have to go to my YouTube channel. I got about 3 or 4 of them, but only one of them is the one I'm using now, which is called Gerard Black in the Philippines with the Truth. So that's firstly my story. I here in the Philippines, I was going to schools and talking and telling people about my life, about coming from a broken home, etc. And I managed an artist here called Ellen Bayou. If you get a chance, you can Google her, and you can see her work. She was a Daily Showtime winner because that's what I did. I promote, I managed, I coordinated. So I've done a lot of things in the industry. So when they say the jack of all trades, that literally I am the jack of all trades of the industry. But that's pretty much my story, and that's pretty much what I do here. This is a shot of myself with Otis Williams, who's the last surviving member of the Temptations.
Oh, okay.
Who I was with. And I'm very proud to be part of the last generation to see all 5 of the original Temptations perform, and
Yeah.
that's me with Muhammad Ali up there. And,
Yeah. Sure.
oh yeah, this is the one I was telling you about, the Michael Jackson. That's the one that shot I
Yeah.
took in Bernard Sharp's office. As you can see, that's
Mm-hmm.
the collage. I mean, the canvas, and then up there, that's behind glass. But this is a shot I took. That's me and the Godfather Soul. I don't know if you can see it up there.
Mm-hmm.
But and this is one I took of Janet Jackson, Mr. Brown, Michael Jackson, Al Sharpton, Frank McRae. They get a shot of all of them together when I was in LA. So yeah, so I've done a lot of stories, a lot of things. So that's where I am at today.
Yeah, I didn't know that really you had done all that. I mean, I basically just kind of heard of you a little bit that you're a YouTube vlogger, and I presume you were here, and I hear your name come up every now and then. Of course, mine was.
Get you. Didn't I send you my bio?
Oh yeah, I got a chance to look at some of it, and yeah, and then you also giving me a lot today. Now, the magazine, is that magazine still going on?
Yes. I have one finished now. In fact, I'm talking to a proofer who's making arrangements for him to come to stay at my house to finish proofing out the magazine. The hardest thing I have here is finding someone to proof. You know what I'm saying? To proofread it. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I can write it, but as far as proofreading it, I always had a proofreader who would proofread it,
Right.
follow behind me. And this guy, he helped me on this magazine here, and he reached out to me about 2 weeks ago, and I told him, "Oh man, God is good because I got another magazine I want to do." When he comes, then he'll read the magazine, and then once that proof, then I'll go on and see. Then I'll go look for sponsors. Here in this magazine here, I got sponsors, but see the thing is about. See if I can find you one here.
Oh,
You
it really
see,
looks good.
yeah. You see, uh, yeah. This is a small ad right here. This is a small ad right here.
Okay.
And see here, it's not like in the States where people have expendable cash. You see,
Yeah.
so these are, I would go to businesses and I would see if they had calling cards. They call them business cards.
Right. I
And,
got one. Yeah.
yeah. And so even if they didn't have the money to pay for it, I would create an ad for them just to have some of the local businesses mentioned into the magazine. So yeah, so I'll move into that phase now where I'll start asking for sponsorship, but I won't ask for any sponsorship until I'm ready to actually go to print, because I won't take $1, unless I know the magazine's ready to come out. That's just not me. But yeah, the magazine's still going on, good brother.
Yeah. The
So,
only thing I'm just don't excuse me. Don't. The only thing I'm just thinking about is now that I don't know if print is really that popping anymore with the advent of all this digital. I can't even imagine. I know in my era, of course, we would buy magazines. That's all we had. But now, I don't know. I really can't see it. Too much people
well,
buying magazines now like that.
well, yeah, well, I'm not. I don't sell it. It's a promotional magazine. It's like I used to be the East Coast representative for the Godfather Soul, Mr. Brown's magazine called The Truth. And they would print it and get copies, but they weren't for sale. They were just to hand out, to hand out
Oh,
at
okay.
certain venues, certain like this. So
Okay.
if I was out on the town, I said, look, man, can I leave 5 magazines here? Yeah, sure.
Oh,
Can I leave
okay.
a couple of magazines here? Yeah, sure. I'm not trying to do hand to hand. Sales.
Oh,
That's not what I'm
okay. It's
doing.
not sale. I got you.
No. I learned my lesson for that in Long Island. When they well, that's a long story. They really got me trying to go to one of the major distributors. But unless you got unless you put in like 100,000 magazines where you can go into supermarkets and all that stuff. Where anything of that is subjected to the distributor's discretion. So they would
what they want to deal with you.
Yeah, exactly. They scare me sheep when they're putting them on these 7-Eleven stores. But then I asked the owner, I said, have you seen my magazine? He said, no. He says,
No.
the distributor told me that they were throwing them away, so they would go back and get them, which turned out to be lies. So I took them to court. And of course, my being who I am and them being who they are, Hudson Distributor, they won, but it was all bogus, So, and then they told me that, look, man, the newspaper stands are owned by the mafia. If they want to put your magazine in there, they'll do it. If they don't want it, they'll leave it out. And so they're worried about my magazine having profanity or have nudity, which it doesn't. It didn't have any of that. So I just went on it and used it as a promotional magazine. Wherever I go, that's my calling card. You know what I'm saying? And I have a partner in New York that when I go back to New York, I bring magazines. She usually has about 3 or 4 events that she want me to come to because back in New York, I am a little well known. So and in Los Angeles, so I do get a little cream from them. So that's good.
Okay, so as far as the magazine goes, you basically just putting it in people's hands.
Yes. Yes. Wherever I go, I'm not. When I had my artists, if I get a performing at a hotel or somewhere, I usually put about 5 magazines in there, or wherever I go, it's a representation of who I am. If someone says, well, what do you do here? This is what I do, pal. I want to say, hey, like this, So it's actually my calling card, and so it works out very well.
Yeah. So are you doing that any hand distribution here in the Philippines?
Yes. Well, yes, I will. I will once it's finished. Yeah. But then I also run into another problem with getting it printed. It's not like getting it. My first print experience with this one here, it was all right. It was all right. But when I went back to them, they raised the price up to like 3 times as much, to print the magazine. And so they had me over barrels. So, I did get it printed through them, but not as many as I wanted. I printed enough to when I went back to New York, I could take a box of magazines with me. For me to hand out. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there thinking, you should, if you don't already, you should have that magazine available digitally.
Oh, it is. It's in a PDF form. It's in a PDF.
It is form. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the reason why I was saying that is it's easy for people to access it. I'm thinking right now, and this is just an off-the-cuff idea, if I was, distributing something like that, that's something you could have on a business card. And we could talk about that offline, but if you want to reach people just related to what I'm doing, I have a new radio station, Geechee Line Music Radio, which is, I'll tell everybody about that because this is Geechee Line Journey. Part of Geechee Line Journey has been the final launching of Geechee Line Music Radio, which I've been really working on the last 3-4 years or so. And it's my own music streaming service. My own music streaming service on my own platform. It's on my website. And with that outlet, and I think I have weekly, monthly, and yearly subscriptions right now that if people go to, and let me just plug this in. If you go to the address you see on your screen, cheetlinesoul.com/sign in, and sign up and subscribe. And when you go to check out, If you use the discount code, which is ironically Gerard, spelled Gerod, you'll get $5 off any subscription per month, and that's perpetual. So if a monthly subscription is $15, you use that code, it's going to be $10 every month, and
Well,
so on and so on.
well, you know, it's funny you speak about that because you're talking about how you learned about the internet. You know, I'm so far behind in this thing that you know, I mean, even my show, my radio show, I'm not getting nothing. I'm not getting paid for it. I don't have a podcast because it's hard for me to teach myself. So I have an assistant who's coming this Sunday to probably
Okay.
help me because I got a new computer to help me navigate through that. So this way I can get to the point where I can start charging subscribers, subscriptions and all that stuff like that. But most of the stuff I do is free, except my Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth. That is monetized, and I have made some money off of that. Not a hell of a whole lot. Oh, okay, not a hell of a whole lot, but it showed me that money can be made. And most of the time when I post about my experience here in the Philippines, it's more as my journey and to let my people know what it is I'm doing and where I'm at, and for my daughters to know, so they know what their father's doing, I'm not looking to try to get 100,000 subscribers. I don't know the formula. No one's, it's just not that important. It's more important that I stay consistent and use it as a disciplinary tool for myself, to keep doing something on a regular.
Yeah. Well, what I'm looking at is, like I said,
Hello, darling. How are you?
with my outlet, again, it's my own. I run it, and people go there, they're going to hear my original music, and then I also have original music of a couple of my associates. My cousin Gerard Rayborn, who's a professional blues man, based in Memphis, Tennessee. You'll feature his music. I'm also featuring the music of my cousin Anthony Carter, who's an R&B and gospel artist. Also, I'm featuring some of his music. So, this is what I'm doing right now. And I'm not dealing so much with the Spotify's and all this stuff. I kind of pulled a lot of my music off of that. And I guess I could, let me dovetail into that.
So
Go ahead.
Is your music copyrighted?
Everything I do is copyrighted. I've been a songwriter for 50 years. And I actually started technically writing back in 75, 76. And
so anything,
yeah.
Anything I may have heard?
I've released some music under my own name, Anwar. I've also released music under the name Imperial Brown and the Million Seller. I did some singles. I have about 20 singles out there. Imperial Brown and the Million Seller is one of my groups. I did Don't Call Jody, Don't Call the Law, Prepare for the Coming of the Lord. Other ones I just released about exactly 1 year ago. I released 3 albums. I released music under my own, alias Geechee Lion. I released the album called The Ministry, which I wrote, and it was inspired by one of the Filipino vloggers who I won't mention her name, but her birthday was 3 days ago. And I developed a great crush on her, if you will, and I wrote that album called Ministry. People know who she is if they've been following me. I also have another group called the Passport Brothers. The Passport Brothers, that is my group, official, and I release music under them. So what I'm really trying to do, probably you haven't heard it, I want to use this YouTube channel, Geechee Lion's Journey, as a way for people to hear my music and get to know it. Become subscribers to the radio station is the best way and the most, best way for me. Of course, that's my personal way to monetize stuff. People who are actually fans and appreciate what I'm doing would actually, would actually directly support me in that way. Because as you know, and this is one of the big things in the industry now that I wanted to just cover, is the fact that it ain't no money for the small and medium-sized artists now in streaming. You got to have millions of streams to get any kind of money that way. So as for me, I'm not even dealing with those streaming platforms. Like I said, I'm using my own Geechee Line Music Radio, and I think that's the trend. I think people like Prince were really like instrumental in kind of, in trying to get away from the mainstream streaming, because if you ain't selling nobody like Prince and Michael Jackson and people like that who were doing a whole lot, moving a whole lot of streams, it would not hardly no money in that. I mean, it's a good promotional tool, but as far as money, it's ridiculous.
So what instrument do you play? I mean,
I technically don't. When I do play, it's a keyboard, but I'm not a keyboard player. I'm basically a vocalist, songwriter. Of course, I've done some producing and arranging. Obviously, I got about 8 albums, but I do play keyboard basically to the extent of what I taught myself to do. And I basically use the keyboard as a tool to help me in my songwriting and also in some of my recording. I actually play keyboard on it. So much of the stuff that you hear that people would hear if they would go to my website, and actually a lot of it you can go to my YouTube. I have a couple of YouTube channels. Here's one on the screen, which I had to figure out how to get back in it. But Geechee Line Music Full Roster, it will basically direct you to all my different music I do under various aliases. And you'll hear me playing keyboard on a lot of the songs. You'll hear me singing, of course, on all of them. And that's the way that goes as far as what I'm doing exactly in the industry. But like I said, I am a musician. I can't, I'm guilty as charged as far as that goes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's interesting too that you say you came into the business by being a photographer. I have a celebrity photographer named Bernard Dean Moulton. Dean Moulton Photography, based out of Chicago, but he's also affiliated with Marshall Thompson. He was just out invited by Marshall to be his photographer out at the Fool in Love tour out there in Los Angeles. That happened about 6 weeks ago. Dean was out in Los Angeles with Marshall Thompson of the Shylights. And he has, a lot of pictures that he took out there, like Marshall. I think LJ Reynolds was out there. Dionne Warwick was out there, that's somebody. She's probably one of the last people living that I wrote songs for, that I'm hoping that I can get them to actually record it. I have several songs that I wrote for people, and in a couple of cases they heard it. Most cases they didn't hear it. But I actually wrote a song with Dionne Warwick in mind. So that's another challenge to and I don't know how you did it. I think you said that somebody just happened to see you at an event and they talked to you, and that's how you got on as a photographer with that person. So
Well,
obviously,
well, that was my trick of the trade. You know, whenever I never paid for concerts. You know, I won't pay for them. You know, so but what I would do is that I would show up when they are building the set. I would show up when they're putting it together, and I would just
yeah,
wander on, and I would stay there. I would stay there,
yeah,
and I would look for somebody who has a legitimate reason to be there, and I will
yeah,
latch onto them. By the time the show starts, they say, "Oh well, it's okay, hey, like that, So yeah, that's how I usually do it, But let me try to give you guys a couple of stories. Uh, 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 I went to North Carolina, and I want the local town to do a story on me as Local Boy Does Good, because I'm doing big things now. So they did a nice feature piece on me. So I decided to go to the bigger paper. I can't remember the name of it, and I went and I met the editor, and I showed him my portfolio. And he said, "You took all these pictures?" I said, "Yeah." He pushed his chair back and said, "I don't believe it." I said, "What do you mean you don't believe it?" He said, "I don't believe you took these pictures." So that night, I was photographing Patti LaBelle and James Ingram performing. So he said, "Bring me a picture of Patti LaBelle." I said, "If I bring you a picture of Patti LaBelle, how are you gonna know I took the picture?" And he pushed his chair back and said, "Oh, you a smart SOB," like this. So anyway, so the night of the concert, see, I already found out the main name to mention when I got to the concert. His name was Sneed. Sneed was Patti LaBelle's manager. So when I got there that night, I said, "I'm here to see Sneed." And no one's gonna say no, because Sneed's the man. That's Patty's manager. So yeah, okay, yeah, you can go up. So I went up and I saw it. The manager said, I said, "Sneed, look," I showed him my portfolio. I said, "Look, I'm a photographer and I'm looking to take pictures." And he gave me a VIP pass. So now I'm photographing, James Ingram came on first. I was downstairs with James Ingram, and I asked him, "Can I take a picture?" And James Ingram said, "No, no, no." He said, "No pictures, no pictures." I said, "Okay." So during the performance of what they're doing, Patti LaBelle and James Ingram's wife, it was his birthday. So they came out with a cake and held it for James Ingram, and James Ingram blew out the candles and they kissed him like this. He got lipstick on him all like this. So as he was exiting the stage, I stood at the top of the staircase, held my camera down to my side and said, "Hey, James." When he looked up, I took the picture. So now, before I finish that story, I was photographing with the Godfather's son, Mr. James Brown, in his theater in Los Angeles. They had an underground tunnel to go to both sides of the stages. And so this is the first time Mr. Brown's wife, Athea, I think her name is, sung with him. And I got pictures of this. And so I'm going underneath the tunnel, and one of the people from the venue said, "Look, you can't take pictures in here." I said, "What are you talking about? I'm with Mr. Brown. I'm his photographer. I mean, I can't take pictures here. Are you out your mind?" So I'm taking pictures. I'm taking pictures. So next thing you know, he comes after me and he grabs my camera. And I go, "Oh." That's one thing you didn't want to do, is grab my camera. So we're on the ground and we're rolling in there and what have you. And Frank McRae, I showed you a picture of him. He says, give him the film. I said, "Frank," I said, "Athea was performing." He said, "Give him the film." I said, "Frank, give him the film." So I exposed the camera, exposed the film. I decided never again will I have somebody take my film. So anyway, so when I took the picture of James Ingram, well, I'm back in front of the stage, taking pictures of Patti. So the next day I look to the side and I see James pointing at me, like this. So I see 3 or 4 goons coming at me like this. So I'm rewinding the film into the camera, popped it, took it out, and they grabbed my bag and told me, "Take it." So I had a cousin up in the audience. So I ran up there and said, "Here, take these rolls of film out." So because they didn't have the film, so they came and grabbed me and brought me back to James Ingram. James Ingram grabbed my sweater, bow, hit me in the mouth, and like this. And so they had my camera, my keys to my truck, and all that stuff. So, when we were leaving, Jay Brown said, "Oh no, there was nothing." He said, "I didn't hit him. I was trying to kiss him." So what happened was that got out in the news. So I went to the hospital and take pictures, which I should have, but it got out in the news. So I started doing radio interviews around the country because the word got out that James Dean wanted to kiss me. So I
what?
got radio recordings, all this. So I sued him for $65,000. I didn't get it, but I should have taken pictures of him. I mean, I got 100 stories, 101 stories, but that was kind of crazy, But anyway, so outside of that, I can tell you some Mr. Brown stories and all that stuff. But what are you doing? What am I doing here in the Philippines? I come here to live like a king.
Mm-hmm.
I come here to get my teeth fixed, my eyes fixed, and have a baby, and get married, of course. And so right now, life is so good here. I plan to go back soon. Probably next year. That's why the magazine should be finished by then, anyway. So
yeah, I guess. Wow. So, well, I guess that's kind of a good segue because I'd be interested to know, how did you even end up in the Philippines, being you coming from the background that you've been sharing with us this morning? That's kind of, I was kind of taken aback somewhat when you said you was in the industry. And like I said, this is not the ordinary places for people, I guess, to look like us, if you want to put it in that kind of way, to be over here. I know what my story is, but I'm just trying to, because I never heard none of this about Gerard Black before. So
You'd be surprised.
You'd
be surprised how many brothers like me have decided to leave the United States and make this our home. I used to live in Las Vegas. I lived in Las Vegas for 2 years. And, I had a big event. I was managing an artist called Timothy Wilson. Timothy Wilson was currently, at that time, the lead singer of Frankie Lyman's Teenage. Yeah, I have one. He's on one of my shows.
What happened?
And matter of fact, he was the first. Matter of fact, he was the first East Coast artist to be signed to Motown. So can you hear me? You look frozen there, partner. Well, anyway, he was the first artist to be signed to Motown. In fact, he had a record called Baby Baby that was climbing the charts, but Barry Gordy stopped it because at that time the Temptations did The Way You Do the Things You Do. So Timothy left, and anyway, so him and I were going to go to Europe, and where they appreciate the music a lot better. I don't know. I guess. Welcome to Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth. I don't know what's going on, but anyway. So, check me out. But I had this big venue lined up. In fact, it's supposed to be a pre-Grammy reunion. They've been trying to get me to do it for about 5 years, to come to Las Vegas and rekindle the pre-Grammy party, because I was her personal photographer and assistant. So, but. I had a partner, and he turned out not to be partner, and the whole ordeal got the best of me, and I ended up in a hospital, nervous breakdown, homeless, living out of my car like this, and eventually, I got my nuts out the sand and got a place and what have you. But Vegas was real rough for me, man. So I decided to leave the States and come to the Philippines, and but I came here to finish a magazine, and it just ended up like I decided. When I was in the Philippines, when I first landed in Cebu, I was sitting somewhere where there was at a bus stop. And there was how the chairs are connected, and there was a chair empty here, a woman sitting here with her back facing me, and her pocketbook was in the empty chair. And I walked in front of her and come and sat down on the other side of a pocketbook. And of course, I'm sitting there thinking, well, of course you're going to get a bag. But you're going to turn around and take a bag, because that's what they do whenever they, see us, see a black person. But she didn't turn around. I sat there for about 20 minutes, and she did not once turn to look at her bag or check her bag. And I was like, oh God, I'm in the right place. These people are fantastic, so trustworthy, whatever. But it definitely was a culture shock when I landed here in the Philippines, and they were driving me to my hotel, and at night, I'm coming from the airport, and I'm like, where in the hell is he taking me? Look at these streets, and I mean, people just hanging out. This doesn't look healthy. You know what I'm saying? So, finally I got to the hotel, and it was okay. But I was amazed that all the girls looking like, I asked somebody why they all have that little pot belly. I thought because they were fertile, because they're, it's like that. I said, no, that's rice belly. But, it turned out to me. Okay, well, I've been talking. So, I mean, to me, it looked like the girls all looked alike when I came to the Philippines. They all had long black hair. They all had all white skin. They all were thin. There are no fat people in the Philippines. I mean, so that was my impression. But I met a girl.
Can you hear me, Gerard?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Did you lose me?
Yeah, I did lose you.
Okay, but you kept going.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
okay,
the show must go
great.
on.
All right, so good. At least
the show must go on, my brother.
All right, I just want you to recap what I missed about, what got you to the Philippines. I caught the last little part about the women, but could you start that over again a little bit, recap for me since I dropped out?
I almost want to tell you to watch the replay. No, I was talking about how when I first landed here in the Philippines, they used to call me LeBron James. I'm like 5'9" or so, and everybody was so small. I'm looking over the top of all these people. I said, "Wow, I could take any 5 of these." But anyway, so what happens that when they were driving me back from the airport, it was a culture shock to me. I mean, I was looking at the buildings, I was looking at the streets, all the sidewalks are uneven. I mean, you never see nobody pushing a baby carriage in the Philippines because, my God, you couldn't push it very far without so many breaks and cracks in the sidewalk. But ultimately, I got to the hotel room and. I was talking about Geechee that when I was at a bus stop in front of Robinson, there was a woman with her back sitting. They have the chairs connected. There was a woman with her back facing me, and her pocketbook was in the empty chair, and I'm sitting here. And I walked in front of her to take the seat. And what my thinking was, oh yeah, she's going to turn and take her bag. That's what they do in the States when they see a black man is going to take the bag. But I sat there for about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, and she never once looked at her bag. Never once looked at her bag. And right then and there, I knew I was in the right place because I knew the people are trustworthy. Hey, the people have been very good to me. You know what I'm saying here, and it's a two-way street. I've been very good to them. I'm more than happy to help them. When I can, and it's and it's absolutely delight. I have a wonderful extended family now. You know what I'm saying, and I can't see myself living in it. I have a beautiful daughter now. When I decided to, of course, when I first came, I got a girl. And then I found out that she was married, so it broke it off. So then at that time, I decided to run through as many Filipinos as I can. I did that as a brother. I had to sow my oats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well.
So and then when I decided that okay, that's it. I'm going to find somebody. I want one woman. I want one girl. I want one person. And I had. I had a criteria, Um, 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 she not married. She can have 2 children. Neither one of the children over the age of 10, and she'd be willing to have a baby. And so, I met a girl, and I said, okay, we'll be together for a certain amount. If we're together this amount of time, I'll let you move in. And she did. And then I said, okay, if we're together this long a time, we'll get married. And we did. And I said, okay, now we got married, and we worked on having a child, because that's how a child should. That's when I think life begins. The life conception is that when you're married and you decide to bring a child into this world. If you're not married, bringing a child into this world, it's not. I'm not cool with that. So that's her 2 boys. Under the age of 10, when you come into a child's life, there's a lot of room for bonding, a lot of room for the developing a relationship, as to dealing with a woman who has a kid that's 12, 14, 18 years old like this. You're not my daddy. I don't want to hear that shit. And what have you. So it's worked out very, very well. Very well. I wish you put up there, subscribe to Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth, Geechee, one time.
Yeah, no, but you know what? Hey, I'm just really going with the flow here. I can tell you that my guest is Gerard Black in the Philippines. As I was saying to him, I had no idea that he was dealing with the music entertainment industry at all. Do you do much of promotion on that? As far as your involvement with that?
Promotion of what?
Of that your involvement with the entertainment industry.
Well. I'm always looking for talent. Like I said, I go into schools. And I talk about, I have a motivational program called Dreams and Nothing More Than Plans Awaiting Action. You guys can go to my YouTube channel called Filipino Soul Magazine. You go to
Filipino. Oh, you got a YouTube channel called that?
Yeah, I got a YouTube channel called Filipino Soul Magazine.
Oh, okay.
I got another YouTube channel from back in the States called S is in Sam, G is in George, I is in India, B is in Bravo, MAG MAG on TV / the G spot. So, and there you see a lot of interviews done with a lot of celebrities and artists and etc. So the thing here is that karaoke seems to be a big thing. A lot of artists here in the Philippines turn me off when they perform, because they got to read the lyrics from their phones or cell phones. Like, this is like, come on, man, what kind of stuff is that? If you're going to be performing to the people, you should at least know the words of the song. I understand that you may not know what you're singing, but I understand that, but when I had Ellen Bayou, I'm gonna see if I at least try to give you a little sample of her. But
I would like to hear this person. You say you've been dealing with a certain artist here in the Philippines, a female, I guess. So you have to direct me to. Does she have any music recorded that's on the YouTube? Or?
Well, here.
Mga people are daily winner from Visayas, ang bigat tindera ng Cebu, Ellen Bayo.
Paano kung wala ka na? Paano ba ang mag-isa? Mula nang makasama ka, kung paano'y limot ko na. Paano ang pag-ibig ko?
Yeah, they are.
Mhm. Okay. That on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on YouTube. You can find her. Like I said, Google Ellen Bio. I managed her for 1 year. You know, I taught her a lot of songs. You know, had to learn a lot of songs, and we would go over performing in different hotels, different. I was grooming to take her back to Las Vegas with me because
Mhm.
there's a big, strong Filipino community in Las Vegas. But
Yeah,
you know,
I
COVID,
understand.
all that stuff came through and whatever. So it never. I'm still in touch with her. You know, which is good. She came to my wedding and what have you. But yeah, it's with her. I taught a lot of American songs, and I had to learn the history about a song. Like if you're going to sing a song like Lionel Richie song, you know, then you have to talk about the artist. So like I learned her, taught her how to do that, you know, and not just, you know, give history about a song, you know, and it's very nice. We had a good relationship going together. Yeah, very nice.
Mhm.
But you know, and I've also had a couple of models who were my representatives, you know, who would go with me. In fact, I had a restaurant here called Bogart that every first Friday of the month or the last Friday of the month, I would have a contest, and I would give away 5,000 pesos to the girls who worked there. Because one of them asked me, this is what I said, I helped a lot of people. She asked me to loan her money. I said, if I loan you money, I got to loan them all money. So I said, I'll tell you what, each week I give one of you 5,000 pesos. So they put their name in a jar, and each week, you know, for about 6 months or about for 6 Fridays, you know, I one of them got 5,000 pesos. And I also had an artist who would perform and sing, and I would have my show, you know. So yeah, it's kind of cool. I've also opened up a couple of venues with Ellen and I. We did Afternoon Delight because we are looking for a place that she can sing. One thing about the music industry here is that um, one thing about the music industry here is that when you have artists who are performing in venues, hotels, or whatever type of, they've been performing there at Geechee for years. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I mean, it's not like it's just a 6 month gig or one
Yeah.
month gig and a new band's coming in. No, man, they've been there for years. You know, so it's
Yeah.
really hard to break in a new artist.
Hard to
You know,
break in. Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to break it. You probably could sneak in, you know, bring an artist up on stage to perform a couple of songs, but that's the extent of it, you know, just for exposure purposes, just to keep it working, you know. And we did a number of videos. I did all kinds of videos with her, you know. I did um oh man, there's a lot of songs. As Time Goes By, you know, from Casablanca, you know, what's that song from Etta James? Remember the song Etta James did?
My at last.
At Last, yeah. So I told her At Last, you know. So it's good. She's a very beautiful woman, and she, you know, she did a great job in doing working and learning music. So it's good, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm just relating to what you're saying. I can imagine, yes, if uh, you know, people who've been able to get a position at a hotel or restaurant like that, I think those are probably hard to get now. And you know, you know, because it's not certain times it's not that many opportunities here to even make a living or make a livelihood. So, you know, to be able to do that and have that be your reliable source of income, I could see that, that would be, an issue or something that somebody will want to get into.
Well, you see, well, that's why I did my motivational program. See, I would make a donation to the schools. It wasn't about them paying us; it's about me making donations to them. So, so that way my artists would work out, my team would work, and it was a beautiful thing. I've gotten a couple of awards from schools, from for doing what I do. Wait, I'm gonna show you this one, and then we'll probably have to go because it's after 9:30, and I got things I got to do. Hold on a second.
Sure.
See if I got. Is it on this one?
Yeah, everybody become a subscriber. Subscribe to Geechee Lion Journey, of course, but also Gerard Black in the Philippines. Check him out. And also, I'm really pressing my new radio station, Geechee Lion Music Radio. I mean, I'm doing that's kind of I don't want to say it's my hobby. I mean, it's my business. I take it seriously with my music. And I've continued to work on it even after I moved to the Philippines. I've had several studio sessions since I've been in the Philippines. And even when I was in Chicago, I was able to get in the studio before I left there. I launched a radio station here. This is going to be, again, go there and use the promo code Gerard, Gerod, $5 off a monthly subscription. And this is what I was just recently monetized, quote unquote, on YouTube back in August. So, I mean, that's nice, but really as far as monetization and people really want to help me, I really prefer trying to direct people over to my radio station. Yeah.
Geechee, this is the kind of reception I would get at schools. So you can go to the SGIB mag and see the rest of it. But that was
I want to get that. And also I want to know if you do have that Filipino Soul magazine in the digital form. I'd like to check that out.
Okay. Yeah, I can pull one up for you.
And we can also, if you're interested, I can have your magazine shown on my website.
That's on in Dumagetti.
Yeah, I can hear. Like I said, my screen. I can hear you fine, but for some reason your video is frozen. So I'm not seeing you move at all.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of glitching, so it's kind of freezing. I hear you though, but it's glitching. Okay. But so where do you stay now, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, well, I stay in Dumagetti.
Oh, you in Dumagetti? Yeah, that's the place I visited for one day. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I'm based out of Davao City right now. I was in San Carlos.
Yeah.
but I'm in Duval City right now. So I'm getting settled back in, and definitely I thank you for joining me this morning. We got to maybe try to do this maybe once a week or something,
Okay.
to go over this industry and just talk about stuff, because I have, again, this is the gift to keep on giving. You can,
Congratulations. We didn't talk about P. Diddy.
I don't even want to get into that. But what I will say is I just want to give a shout out here to Frankie Beverly, who we just lost. Of course, you can see him on my background here. And that is a very ironic situation with him. It's something I can go into with Frankie Beverly, but I'm gonna save it for maybe for the next vlog.
Do you
But
know?
needless,
Do you know who put him? Do you know who put him on?
Marvin Gaye, right?
Marvin Gaye. That's right, Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, Marvin Gaye. And actually, Frankie played the damn glass bottle with a spoon on "Got to Give It Up."
Oh
Did
yeah,
you know that?
Was him? No.
Did you know that?
No, but did you know that Sheena E played the bottle on Michael Jackson's you know the song?
Yeah. Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
Yeah, the Sheila E. Yeah, she playing the glass bottle. Okay, so
yeah,
touche.
But doggone Frankie Beverly was playing the glass bottle on Marvin Gaye. Got to Give It Up.
Yeah.
But
the one that
Robert
Thicke got sued over.
So what I want everybody to do is, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel and to Gerard's channel. Subscribe to the radio station support. That's where I get supported financially. Also, go there and binge watch my videos. I have probably over 500 videos out there. I just recently did a couple of videos honoring Frankie Beverly. I did one honoring Tito Jackson. I'm still doing the videos of my travels here in times in the Philippines, in the music industry. All that is being mixed in. So follow me.
Okay.
At least I'm trying to do something at least 2 or 3 times a week. I'm trying to upload something, but
you mentioned about music, and I'm going to say this about music. Music is the only thing in this world I trust, my brother. It doesn't want nothing from you. It's not conning you. It's not trying to go to bed with you. You're not trying to go to bed with it. And the feelings that you feel for music is genuine. Whatever mood you want to be in or how you want to feel, music can help you do that. So don't forget my Sunday morning classics as time goes by. So there's music at 7 a.m. Filipino time, 7 p.m. New York time. And also visit me on Gerard Black, the Philippines with the Truth. So with that being said, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elderly, always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one to see your vision. And the best revenge in life is to live good. Are we living good today, my brother?
Hey, let me say this. Just a work in progress.
You're living good today. I hope you are too. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson, former lead singer of Temptation One song, treat her like a lady. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man like us, make us feel like a king and never say no. Okay?
All right.
Thanks
a lot for joining us this morning, Gerard here in the Philippines, and you out there in America. Of course, it's evening there. I'm gonna see if I can catch a little bit of this doggone debate for what it's worth. But like, share, subscribe, y'all.
Okay. Stay well and stay blessed, my brother. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace, everyone. Join me again later on this week. I'll be back with something, whether it be live or recorded, on Geechee Line Journey. Check out my singles. Check out my music. I got music on the internet, on YouTube, and also on my radio station. Thanks a lot. God bless.
Please.